This morning I watched Jason Whitlock, and this stuff, or what he was talking about, was ESPN and YouTube's dispute. And he was showing clips of men on ESPN just crying and crying like pathetically. And the stuff that they were crying about was like, why would you cry about that? It's very feminine to cry like that. And Jason Whitlock called Randy Moss gay for crying. I thought that was funny. And so I looked it up because I didn't know when Disney acquired ESPN. And it was in 96, which I was like, whoa, they've owned them that long? But it kind of does make sense because you acquired them in 96, and within about 10 years, that's when you're starting to change stuff. And 2006, between 2006 2010, that's when ESPN really started to change. And I made a video earlier about Steve Kim saying he has cable, and this YouTube ESPN debacle or dispute or money grab isn't really affecting him, and it affects me even less. Like, I get to watch it. I don't care. And ESPN I haven't watched in over a decade, like, at all. Like, what's good on it? I don't watch post games. I don't watch pre games. I don't watch half times because they're garbage. These people can't speak. They can't use proper English. It's all about look at me, views. There's really no real analysis, and the real analysis, they're just trying to show you how smart they are. So I don't. During halftime, boom, I'll turn a sitcom on. Watch it for 12, 15 minutes, go back to the game. I don't care about it. And in the early 2000s, so we moved in 99. So in like 2000, 2001, that's when I finally had cable and access to ESPN and stuff like that. I would watch SportsCenter, like the same SportsCenter, because they played one all day until the evening, and then they would create a new one. Or they created a new one in the morning and then it ran all day and they had a new one. I don't remember exactly how it was. But I would watch the same one at least 2 times a day. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. Where, like, what's SportsCenter now? I mean, Chris Berman was so good with his whop! And then, when someone, like, his sound effects are so good. He was so entertaining. And then they had, it was probably 10, 15-ish years, they had a segment called You Got Jacked Up! And it was of the hardest hits that week in the league. ESPN is exactly what I assumed they would be with Disney controlling them. Just like Marvel, just like Star Wars. It's pathetic. And there's tons of minorities and women that, if it wasn't for Disney, aren't good enough to actually have that job. Or men that aren't good enough to have that job, but they align with what we believe, and they will say what we want them to say. So everyone is on TV hired by Disney for a purpose. And that purpose is to propagate their propaganda and get weak people that are willing to say whatever just to say, look at me, I have this job. I'm something. Like, yeah, you're something. You're a piece of shit. That's what the something that you are. To have no morals, no values, and you're just, oh, the money's here. Oh, the money's here. And when you follow the money, your product is of course going to suffer. Because if you make your fans happy, give them what they want. Because sometimes the money will fall a little bit, but you stay true to your fans, it'll come back. But when you're just chasing money, it's because this world has changed a lot over the last 20, 25 years. And what is quote unquote popular. Because now, if I wanted to be popular on YouTube, like quickly, all you have to do is act like a moron, act like a degenerate, spew ridiculousness out, transition, talk about your homosexual lifestyle and your struggles with it and how you were persecuted, and that's all you have to do. And you can be popular. But what is popularity if you lose your soul? What is money if you lose your soul? It's pointless. It's useless. So this just came to me. My dad and I were talking about someone that's never heard of Jesus Christ or of the Bible and stuff like that. Would they go to heaven? And I told my dad that, so I've talked about this before, but I watch a young man, and he probably is about a 1-year-old as far as what he does. He grabs everything, puts it in his mouth. He doesn't care about his safety, your safety. Doesn't care. Cares about getting attention, and that's about it. And so he really doesn't, he can't understand Jesus, even if he heard it his whole life. Like, he's not going to be able to comprehend getting saved or baptized or accepting Jesus into your heart or anything like that. And I talked to his twin sister, who, she's fine. She has a job. She drives. She's perfectly fine, as far as no disability like he has. And we talked about it, and she's like, oh, he'll go to heaven. And you talk about like that baby that dies at 3, 6 months, a year, like it can't comprehend, so they go to heaven. And then my dad asked me about the tribe that they want to follow and be good and like kind of basically do what God teaches and Jesus teaches, but they have no concept of him. Would they go to heaven? And I was like, maybe they go up to the pearly gates and have a conversation, like have a legit come to Jesus moment, where he asks them a couple of questions and their answers, or he just knows what's in your heart and bam, you're there or you're not there. And maybe someone that's truly evil, but they die young, where they can't really comprehend, but God and Jesus know what's in their heart, so they don't go to heaven. I don't know. It was just a thought-provoking question. And I'm still thinking about it and formulating an opinion. Kind of talking through it right now. But ESPN is so far away from God. So far away from any kind of morals. They have an agenda, and with Disney, I don't even know if their agenda is accumulate wealth. Like how most companies want to make money, make money, make money. It seems like they're okay with losing a little bit because they have a plan from the devil to spread his evil. And if they have to lose a little money to spread his evil, they're cool with it. So ESPN, I hope you fail, falter, collapse in on yourself. This world will be the better for it. If Disney fails, collapses, falls in on itself, this world will be better for it. So, screw you, Disney. Hope you go bankrupt, and I hope the government doesn't bail you out.